talking after the game about some of those 3-foot and even 10-foot battles that your team wasn't winning. Can you maybe just describe the difference in your group when they're engaged in those battles and winning them versus maybe on the outside?
Well, our group, any group in the league, you have to have the puck to prevent goals, and you have to have the puck to score goals. And we didn't have the puck very much in Tampa, or pardon me, in Florida. And it started in the face-off circle. We were a little loose there. We didn't compete at the level that I thought we could compete at, and then it went from 1 foot to 4 foot to 10 feet, and pretty soon they've got the puck and we're chasing them all night. So of our 16 games that we played, we've had a couple where we're disappointed in that, and the Florida game was one of them. So let's see what we can do tomorrow night to rectify that.
When you're designing your practice for today, it's clear you did some of that. What thought process goes into the type of drills you want to do?
Well, we look at things that we're doing well in our game, and we'll accentuate those things, maybe remind the players that they are doing them well, but we won't work on it quite as much as we will on areas that we think need the work, parts of our game that are getting sick. And some of that was the defensive part of the game. Some of it was the battles or the loose puck retrievals, body position around our net. And so we came up with some drills today to accommodate what we think our needs are at this point.
Five goals for, I guess, in the last 3 games. Obviously, I know there's ebb and flow with offensively and finish throughout the season. How do you measure, I guess, the production against the chances recently here?
Well, that's a good question, because when you look at just the goal total itself, you're going, geez, you know what? They're not creating anything. In each of the games that we lost on this road trip, leave Detroit out of it, I thought we created numerous opportunities. And you know, sometimes the goalie has your number, sometimes you don't quite bear down. Other factors come into play, but the fact that we did create is still a real positive for us, especially on the power play. I thought our power play looked dangerous in the games that we lost, and that's a real positive sign. So we've got to be careful that we're not drilling down too much on that part of the game, because the chances were there.
There's like the ongoing debate with young players on whether they're best served, you know, playing limited minutes up here, being in and out of the lineup, or playing a whole bunch of minutes in the American League. Where in that arc is Jesse Puljujarvi right now?
In the same arc as Yamo or Bush. You know, just because you've been in the league now for a few years doesn't take you out of that. You're still a young player, and that's the arc that he's in.
Is it still better for him to be up here than down there, you think?
Well, it depends on where we are in schedule, what they're doing down there. We want a confident set of players, and if he can't gain that confidence or that traction here, then maybe the best answer is somewhere else. But those decisions will be made as we go forward.
Todd, late in that Florida game, I just want to talk about the line that you sent out with McDavid, Draisaitl. Kajula was also on that right side. What did you like out of Kajula's game that prompted him to get those kind of minutes late in the game?
Well, the biggest change we made there was Nuge and Leon in that situation. Barkov was having a tremendous night. He's a 225-pound player that can skate with Connor, so hauling him around is not an easy task. The rest of that line did a good job as well, so we tried to get a little more weight, a little more heaviness out there with Connor, and that would be Leon. Drake had a pretty good road trip. You know, he had a spark in a lot of the games. He was feisty, he kept plays alive. He was one of the few players that I thought were winning some of those loose puck battles. And to get him out there with your high-minute guys as you're trying to come back was the train of thought.
Are you going to go line for line, like your Connor against the McKinnon line, or?
You know what? We still have to sit down today. I can't even tell you who's playing in our game tomorrow night yet. We've got to look at some injuries, where players are at, health-wise, are they capable? Going through practice is one thing because we can control it. Going through a game situation where guys are definitely competing at a different level is another. So injuries, lines, pairs, line matchups, we'll make those decisions once we know who we're playing.
So somebody in the top 6 maybe is not quite there?
I'm sorry, don't follow.
Somebody in your top 6 is iffy? Is that what you're saying?
All of our top 6 guys are banged up, just like everybody else is right now, because they play so many minutes, and you know, they played some taxing games. So banged up and injured are 2 different things. So.